That
Try that again. Gotta love technology.
have you ever thought about have you ever thought about getting involved with real estate investing, but you just didn't know how or where to get the money? So today, my guest Amanda is going to be talking about the money side. You see, in real estate investing, we have two wheels. You got the product wheel. We're always looking for deals, looking for deals, looking for deals. But then we got another wheel, another crank that I like to say that we're always looking for money. And today, we're talking about my favorite topic because I'm actually in the money game. Amanda's with a company that finances real estate guys and other entrepreneurs. And they've actually loaned out over 11.8, almost 12 million to my Roundup family. So today we'd like to tell you what she offers. And from time to time, if it's something you see a benefit for yourself, you can do an application to see how much money you can possibly borrow. But people come on my channel, and if you have a product or service that they use, we get a small percentage of the sale, but you actually pay less if you come through our link. So we have negotiated that for you. And today, Amanda Webster, it's good to see you again.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, welcome, class. So we're here. Sorry about I don't know what happened, but we got a little reverb in the back. I don't know if you have the mic. You turn it down just a touch on your end. Do you have the speakers on?
Yeah, let me see if I can
Just a
make that
touch,
lower.
just a
Yeah.
little bit. We'll be all right.
One
Sounds
second.
good. Oh, let's do that. San
Try
B,
that.
round up. Let me know where you're coming in from, please. We got San B from the D. I lived in the D for a while. 1 2 1 2.
Is that
That
any
ain't bad.
better?
That's a little bit better. Yep.
Okay.
So, Amanda, tell us a little bit about background before we get to all this money thing, because a lot of us think that we actually have a money problem in business. But from I have learned, we don't have a money problem. We have a strategy problem. And that strategy, the money follows the strategy. So you're going to equip them with the financing, but they have to have a strategy to make this money grow.
Yeah. I mean, I always say for any business model, especially in real estate, when you're making your business plan, how you're going to fund it should be part of that business plan, right? Knowing ahead of time what's there, what's possible, what you can and can't do is super important. But you're correct. Anytime you have, even if you have the capital, you don't have the strategy, they both have to go hand in hand. So, here, the background of what we do, we've been doing this for like 18 years now, I think.
Wow.
But yeah, we specifically help entrepreneurs get the funding they need to start and grow, and we specifically help real estate investors because they have such a limited amount of funding they can get without giving up equity or without bringing in partners, which can create its own issues, right? So
Hmm.
we try to what I call debt leverage so you can self fund and be able to hold on to everything that is yours and not have to share that if you don't want to.
Sweet. So I like to ask you, Amanda, tell me who, just so we can just get people that are looking to get money and buy doodads and spend it on consumable goods and depreciating liabilities. Tell us what this financing, who this is not for. Can you just start there?
So this is not going to be for anyone who does not have a business that they're going to be getting ROI on because you should not be leveraging debt if you don't already have a plan to make money. And we cannot help people in right now in the cannabis and crypto world. It's just not something the major lenders are okay with yet.
Mhm.
But I think that the crypto will change. I think that's on the horizon of changing in that world.
Borrow money to buy crypto.
Yeah, I think that's going to
Wow.
change in I'd say give it a year before you could really use like debt to be able to purchase,
Wow.
directly from that.
That's
Yeah, I think it's
crazy.
there. I think it's there.
That's amazing.
It's the world, but that's really the only people it's not for. But if it's for all entrepreneurs, especially ones that are brand new, don't have access to capital, and instead of bootstrapping, instead of using your personal debt, instead of using your personal assets or securing it on an asset, there's other options out there for unsecured business debt that's only showing up on the EIN and not showing up on your personal side, not going on your personal credit, which is what a lot of new entrepreneurs do.
Well, cool. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about how your stuff works. I know you got a whole ton of information, and you have loaned out just so. You've been such a blessing for my supporters here,
Yeah.
and
I
so you
mean,
can help today.
it's essentially business credit is this amazing world that a lot of entrepreneurs just don't understand or don't know that they can use it or how to use it. So we developed a service to be able to uh, strategize with the business owner to make sure that you are in the best position before we ever apply for funding. A lot of times people will go out and apply for funding and not understand kind of what those underwriters are looking for. And so they get denied for silly things. Something really, really stupid, as in your business address doesn't match your application from what the Secretary of State shows. Something just really silly like that can cause you to get denied for business credit. So we make sure we check all the things, all the boxes. We make sure that you're in the best credit worthy positioning in your personal credit, because they do look at that, right? They are going to leverage that because you're either in a high risk industry or you have a new business, a new EIN that you haven't taken the time to build credit on. So we actually accelerate the program to be able to build you business credit on your EIN in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. And this is unsecured, revolving credit that you can use for anything. And then we have specifically found a way and a process to use it to even invest in real estate, pay for remodeling, a flip or even a hold, pay for the burr purchase until you can get the refinance done. Whatever the real estate model that people are using, we have found a creative way to be able to do this without costing you an arm and a leg. We focus on 0% interest business cards on the front side that are going to be zero for 12 or 18 months. They are eventually going to have credit or interest, right? You can't get it for free forever. But if you are building a plan and a strategy, this allows you some buffer to be able to get everything going, build the ROI, and then use it as short-term leveraging. Short-term debt leveraging is really the key on what we do long-term. And then there's a lot of perks and rewards to be able to use this type of funding as well. We do the cash back for most of our business credit, and we get cards, or we get checks every quarter for like $10,000-$15,000. It goes right back into our bank account for money we're spending anyway. So it's kind of a win-win situation, and you're building business credit, which will get you to a point where you no longer need the personal guarantee. You no
Mm.
longer need to worry about where your personal stuff is, because your business will have actually created its own entity, like its own person, its own thing on the EIN side versus your actual social security number where your, personal credit lies.
Sweet. I like to think of master real estate investors as people that have come to the realization that money is nothing but another product. It's just like you're walking down the grocery store, you're looking at potato chips, you're looking at peanuts, you're looking at soda, you're looking at vegetables, whatever, and that product has a cost.
Yep. Yep.
And so when we go into these deals, could you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, cost of capital is true no matter where you're getting it from, right? Whether it's interest, points, a combination of both, whatever it may be. So this kind of funding, once you get it, there's no ongoing costs unless you let the interest accumulate once it does, right? So we charge a flat fee to be able to do a 12-month program to build all these lines. We're not only just building them for you, we are also teaching you. So when you're done with us, you can continue to grow them, have increases, even apply for new cards if you want, because we're going to kind of open the book and teach you what we're doing and why we're doing it, and making sure you understand those qualifications, how to talk to the underwriting departments. People think I'm crazy when I say that business credit cards actually have an underwriting department. It's
Oh,
crazy.
wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can call in if you know how to get to them. There's people there, because when you apply for business credit, it's just a computer algorithm. That's all it is. It's taking your information, it's pulling your credit, it's kind of putting everything together and saying, okay, is this person worthy? And you're going to get 3 responses: either approved with an amount, denied, I'll send you a letter and tell you why in 14 days, right? It's the most annoying thing ever. Or it goes pending, and that typically is just for verification purposes. And then once you pass verifications, then you'll hopefully get an approval with an amount. But even no matter which way that goes, you can talk to the underwriter and change that result. So you can change a denial into an approval. You can change an approval into a higher limit approval just by
Wow.
talking to a person and answering questions of like, your business model, what your projections are, why you answered this question this way. Once you get a person on the phone, it's more of a relationship at that point.
Interesting. So the new person that's interested in doing this, kind of give us a 40,000-foot view of what it would look like.
So I suggest everybody to have a free consult first. Now, if you want to sign up online, you can, but I suggest a free consult first only because we will actually go through everything with you and make sure you're going to qualify and make sure this program makes sense for you. And then if you sign up online, it's okay. We have a 60-day money back guarantee. You'll get that consult right after you sign up and make that decision. So then we will able to get you through onboarding, which is going to just filling out a bunch of paperwork as far as like in a portal. So you answer a bunch of questions so that we know everything we can learn about you and your business to build the right plan. And then once we have that plan, then we actually go through, find the correct offers that are best for you. We apply for those offers for you. And then that's when we start working with you to get with the underwriters and make sure that we get you the best approvals and the best credit limits.
Sweet. So for anybody that doesn't want to hear us yapping and stuff like that, we did put a link right below. They're giving us a special for my Roundup family, guys.
Yeah.
Go ahead and
Yeah.
tell us what that is,
The
Amanda.
normal price online is $4,000 basically. It's $39,997. However, if you come through the dedicated link that you have, it will give you a $500 discount right off the top. So it's going to be basically just under $3,500, so $34.97. We do have payment plans, so you can get a payment plan in there. We have a full pay, a 2-pay, a 3-pay, and a 5-pay. But even bigger, one thing I think I always forget to highlight for these special offers that we put together for you guys is that we also offer the BOGO. And so what that means is you can sign up and you can bring a friend, a partner, a family member into our program for free, and they will get the same quality service. You will actually get 2 memberships, totally separate. These are not co-signing or anything. 2 totally different businesses. They can be the same business if they're truly business partners, but then you get double the credit, basically. You get double the credit lines that we're building. So it is
Wow.
truly a BOGO offer for that same price as well.
That is so cool. So, y'all, we've been negotiating with these guys to get you some type of special for Christmas. And what I have seen is people use hard money, right? And could you kind of just give them a little comparison regarding coming through you and using hard money?
Well, so for hard money, even though it's kind of private, it's a private sector of the financing world, there's still qualifications. There's still little pieces that you have to go in there, and there's interest from day one. Okay. So you're going to have to pay points and interest typically on a hard money loan. So when you come into our world and you get business credit going, you're going to pay the flat fee for us, that $3,500. That's the flat fee. And that's if we get you $200,000 or $400,000. We don't charge you anything from what we actually obtain. But there's no interest for that, 12 to 18 months. And so the cost of capital for this for, 18 months is only going to be that $3,500. You go into the hard money space and you're paying from day one. And there's still constraints. There's still sometimes some things, and it depends on the hard money lender. But at the same time, hard money can be a good option. I think that when you're looking at funding, just like you said, it's a product, right? It's looking at what makes sense for you. And for some people, depending on your market, us getting you $200,000 may not be enough. So you may have to have a combination, but at least we can alleviate that $200,000 at that point, right? We can give that fulfillment at that point. So it's sometimes having multiple options in your closet when you're looking at it. But remember, you need to always factor in the cost of capital and build that into the deals that you're working, because that is going to have to come off your profit margin. You have to just make sure you have enough room in the profit margin no matter what way you're doing it. But at the end of the day, if you need the capital, you got to do what you got to do and figure out the best option of getting it. And I feel business credit is a tremendous option to get you there. But if it's not enough, at least it got you $200,000, $300,000 off the top right then.
Tell us what that would look like. Somebody using you guys and let's say a hard money lender too at the same time.
So most hard money lenders wouldn't care that you're using business credit to get, to get things going. They wouldn't really necessarily have any problem with that. And the way that we have people use the money to say close into a deal
Mhm.
is there's a third party vendor that will wire transfer the money off of the business credit card into the actual deal, into the closing agent, into that escrow account. So you would just have two paths going into that deal, which most people aren't going to care about unless it's a conventional mortgage, a regular traditional loan. Proof of funds and things like that aren't a big deal in that moment. So,
Yes.
no one really cares. It's a great. I have some hard money lenders that actually send people over because they'll only do 80% of the deal. So then we
Mm.
become the other 20% in that moment.
Hmm.
So it can be a compliment as well.
What about paying contractors? I know I'm moving toward that too because of the protection that these cars give you. I didn't even know that
Yeah.
that's like a contract if they don't do the work. When
Yeah.
you pay with a credit card, you can actually get the money back easier.
Yeah. My number one rule on that first subject is you should never use a card that's tied to your cash flow to pay for
Mm.
anything, personal or business. Both rules are the same because it's tied directly to your cash flow. Once your cash is gone, if you have to wait 14 days for that to come back, that can be a
You're in
huge
trouble.
deal.
Yeah.
If it's on a credit card, I say 14 days, that's the average for a debit card. If it's on a credit card, typically they'll give you a provisional credit almost right away and it's not tied to your cash flow. So you didn't really lose anything at that
Mm.
moment, right? You just lost the limit for a minute.
Mm.
So that's the first rule. As far as contractors, same philosophy. If the contractors can accept a credit card, then you can just use your business credit card, you're good to go. If it's a contractor, smaller, doesn't have a merchant account, whatever, you can use the same style third party vendor to wire transfer ACH over to the contractor as well. As long
Sweet.
as it's business to business, then you are within the terms of Visa, MasterCard, Amex, whatever, Discover. So you just have to use a platform that is legitimate. We give you three options of ones that we've vetted out, but it's legitimate and that the card holders are okay with
Mhm.
and our card issuers are okay with. And so you can pay anybody with those as long as it's B2B and you can produce an invoice or something to show why you're paying that vendor.
I'm just thinking about from us. I know I don't do a lot. I'm not on site as much as I used to be, but
Yeah.
I would do Lowe's, Home Depot, materials, 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 materials. That way, the contractor would just get paid labor and stuff like that. Can you mix them up the same
Oh,
way?
yeah. Oh, yeah. Same thing. There's really no limitations. And in the world that I live in, you can kind of double down on that. You can get, Lowe's, Home Depot, they have corporate accounts you can get on your EIN and you can get ones directly with them, which I know you're probably familiar with.
Mhm.
And then you can also have the business credit cards to supplement because sometimes you may not get $20,000 approved on, a Home Depot, corporate account right away. But yeah, there's no issue. You can mix it as long as your contractor is good with your agreement and how you're paying them. The credit cards themselves won't care.
We got a question for one of our members. Is that okay, Amanda?
Absolutely.
Still got a slight feedback. I don't know if it's still there. If you can't, we'll deal with it. I know you got the speakers up there. Derek says, "How are these loans different from loans tied to his LLC?"
Well, loans tied to the LLC is going to be EIN credit. It's the same philosophy. It's just a different line. Think of on your personal credit how you have installment loans, mortgages, car loans, credit card, revolving debt, store cards. It's just a different style account, all of which are reporting into the business credit side, which is great. So these are different because depending on the type of loan, these are like revolving. So they're like a business line of credit in that sense. So basically, you're able to take what you need and use it, pay it, and then it's there again. So if you have an $80,000 Chase card, it doesn't mean you have to start paying $80,000 back. It's just sitting there when you need it. A lot of times your regular loans are going to give you the money and you're going to start making payments right away. This is just available to you. And then your minimum payment is usually 1% of the balance you owe. Now, I never suggest paying minimum payments, but that is an option. Whereas most term loans have a set schedule, a set, payment side.
Well, the payment, I just want to make sure that we all, as investors here, understand the payment from my perspective is irrelevant to me. Because if I'm buying the property for 200, whatever, and then I'm fixing it up and I'm selling it for 350, that's just coming out of my profit at the end. I mean, it's just another expense, correct?
Correct. Yeah. It's all just an expense on the line, however, which way, you have that deal set up or that
Mhm.
project set up.
Yeah. So Roundup, we're going to keep going here, but if you want to find out how much you qualify for, Amanda is happy to see what she can do for you. She cannot help everybody. What does your ideal person look like? Do you have somebody that, like, if they've got X, then we can get them rolling. I've seen you do this stuff in a day. And I've seen
Yeah.
some people have to go through repair and build stuff.
Yeah, there's everybody comes in different, right? Because there is a personal credit component. So the ideal person is going to have a 680 credit score, no major derogatories, already have their business EIN set up. Not a
Mhm.
requirement for us. That's just going to speed up the process. If you don't have, we also can do a sole proprietorship and just get the EIN number set up for that. That's pretty quick, but that's ideal. That's going to be the quickest path.
Mhm.
But somebody coming in that has a couple things, we have ways to help them, guide them, to get them in the best position. And if they don't have a business entity formalized yet and they need assistance, we also know how to do that. We help them through that as well. So ideally, it's more or less how quickly do you want to get to funding is how ideal it needs to be. We typically can find a path for anybody
Mhm.
as long as they're not sitting at, they're a 550 credit score. There's not a lot I can do. There's really not a lot anyone can do at that point. You're going to
Okay.
need some credit restoration. You're going to need some time probably to heal those things. But outside of that, we typically can have a path for them. It just depends on how long that path is, on where their criteria sits. But any industry, anybody, we want to help every entrepreneur that we can.
Cool. So just the links right below, guys. I'm going to keep asking questions. So I'm thinking about the person has the challenge credit. Can they bring somebody in as a partner, perhaps, on their business? I don't know how that would look.
So we don't do like a together. Like we don't do co-financing. It doesn't work
Okay.
that way. It's only one
Mm.
individual at a time. But if
Okay.
you do have more than one person that owns the business and one of them has good credit, then you would just get the business credit through that person, and then you can get an authorized user card for the other person to be able to
Wow.
use the credit for that. But we don't do the co-side, and then but at the same time, we can look at that person and give them advice on what they need to do to be able to
Mhm.
get to a point that they can get the business credit in their name as well.
Got it. Okay. Anything else you want to share with them about how this thing works? I seen you do it, work magic. Why can't somebody just do this stuff? My thing is, people think they can just go and call the banks and do it all on their own. Tell us the difference between you and Joe, Harry homeowner, trying to get these credit lines.
I always compare it to, even if you might know a little bit about plumbing, right? Do you really want to go plumb a whole house? Is that really what are you going to be able to
Yeah, I
pass all
do.
those inspections and things? That's kind of the comparison I use for real estate side because that's an easy one.
Mhm.
Can you do it on your own? Yes. You can absolutely go find some offers, apply for some credit on your own. 100% you can do that. The difference is, unless you understand what each lender is looking for, you don't know which one's the right one to go to. You don't know the strategy that is needed to get you these high limit cards. But at the same time, you have to remember that if you've never had business credit, if you've never done any of these things, that means you don't have a credit score on the business side.
Mm.
And when you do that, it's like you just turned 18 and you don't have any credit yet, right? When you turned 18, at least most of us, we got a Capital One credit card offer in the mail for like $150, right? That was like the
Mhm.
thing that they did, and they probably still do. Point being is you weren't going to be able to build credit very quickly. It takes time to do that.
Yep.
So one of the things of why people aren't as successful on their own than with us is we understand all of the pieces that the underwriter's looking for. But even before that, knowing what we're looking for and implying, knowing which credit bureau they pull, right?
Mhm.
Because they don't always are not exactly the same. All three bureaus report things kind of honky sometimes. So knowing the strategy and understanding the relationship aspect of where to go and which offers are going to make the most sense can make or break. But then, yes, also knowing how to strategically talk to the underwriters to get them to overturn denials, to get them to turn a $5,000 card into a $30,000 card, right? To be able to do that, you have to have a lot of knowledge in the industry and know what they're looking for and how to talk around what they want to hear, right? The things they want to hear. So, can you do it? Absolutely. But I can show you case study after case study of how what you would have got and what we got you, the difference in that spread is usually at least $100,000.
It's so crazy, man. I see it every day. People are like, they ask, can they do this? Can they do that? Can I do this? I'm like, you know what? You can build a house with a hammer. It can be done. Like, I know it can, we used to do it. But why would you go out there? They got nail guns, they got lifts now, they got so many things that use. And I'm like, if I can get it faster, and that's the name of the game too in real estate. It's like, no matter how much you're making, this volume and speed. How fast can you get not only the financing done, how fast can we get the closing? How fast can we get the construction work? How fast can we list the property? How fast can we get it sold? All about the speed in this business, y'all.
I will also say it's also about your own time, right? You only have so much time in the day. You only have so much time you can even commit into what you're doing. Do you want to
Hmm.
spend it trying to figure this out? How much is your time worth? And that's usually where I know I talk to people about that is like $3,500 I know can be a lot of money to people. I'm not saying it's just, easy for a lot of people to just throw that out. But at the same time, that's 12 months of work and service that's going to be done on your behalf. What would it take for you to do it? How much is your time worth? And it's the
Yeah.
same thing on the same thing you're saying. How much is your time worth? Because building it with a hammer is probably going to take a little longer.
Mhm. Well, we got 40 people on here, y'all. Find out how much you qualify for. There's a link right below. I'm thinking, what about financing it into the membership fee? Can that be financed into the credit as well, Amanda?
So we do have payment plans. So one of the things that people will do is they'll sign up for the 5 payment plan, which at your price point would be $847 to get started. And then if they're ready to go, they can get to funding before their next payment and then pay the remainder
Okay.
with the credit.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
there is a finance fee if we're in-house financing. It's not huge, but it's there. So point being is that again, if that's what you need to do, that's fine. We also have what we call a performance-based offer, which means you pay nothing up front but you pay 8% of the funding obtained on the backside. But you don't get the 12 months of service. You don't get all the membership stuff. You get one round of funding and you have to be highly qualified. So if somebody doesn't want to pay it at all on the front, we do have that offer. It just doesn't come with all the perks. It doesn't come with, the BOGO. It doesn't come with all those pieces.
Mm.
And it's there. But normally, probably 95% of the time, it is going to be cheaper and a way better positioning for them as a business to do the 12-month membership for sure.
Oh, okay, cool. So we do have they have given us a discount, y'all. It's $500 off of their service. And the only way you get it is coming through here. We've negotiated that. You pay no more for the services and you get the exact same services coming through us. I don't see any other questions here, Amanda. I would love to chat with you. I'm sure everybody's running crazy. Anything else you want to tell us about the services? I mean, we covered a lot of the stuff.
I mean, I would say this. A lot of people ask me about timing, right?
Mhm.
When should I sign up? When should I apply? How does it work? And I think I always like to address the fact that just like anything else I said, it takes time to build this credit up. It's not like it's not done in a day.
Yeah.
You do get a good chunk in the beginning, right? We do 3 rounds of funding through that 12 months, but it's going to take some time. So if you're trying to work deals or need it in order to, do a project, you want to make sure you're getting ahead of the curve. You want to get the money in place before you sign the contract, right? You don't want to
Mm.
sign the contract and then depend on the money to show up. That's a bad
Ah,
business decision. So I
gotcha.
would say the best time to do it is before, right? It is a strategic timing because you have 0% financing at the front side. So you want to make sure you're getting as much as you can. But I definitely would suggest get the pre-qual done. It's a soft pull. It's not going to hurt your credit. See if you qualify and then get moving. I know that we're going into the holidays and we're going into the new year, but this could be the change in the first quarter that you need to do
Could
more
be.
deals or to do your first deal if this is, your first time, being able to do it. This is a great way to fund that first one be able to do it, flip that money over and go to the next one. I've got people who have successfully used this credit for the full 18 months of 0% that they had, and they flipped probably like 10 houses just on repeat. They just kept
Get
going and
out
kept
of
going
here.
and kept going. Of course, they might have been in a smaller market as far as the, average, price of the home, but either way, this could be that thing that has that change for you.
Look at this, Amanda. Real estate firm says they have worked with Fund and Grow for a couple years and rounds and have obtained over $400,000 for him or her. Holy
That
cow!
is exciting. Those are the ones I love, right? The people that this made their
Wow,
business be able to go. I
that's
think the
crazy.
highest I have seen over two memberships was 700. That was the highest. Now, that was a highly qualified person. They'd had their business for, a few years, things like that. But point being is that's what's possible with this type of lending. And
Yeah,
it's revolving unsecured. It's just there. It's there when you need it and you're able to do it. And
oh, that is so
$400,000
cool.
could literally make or break a business, especially
Yeah,
right now.
I'm imagining if I had that years ago when I was starting. It's really interesting what you look back and you say, should I have done this? Maybe I wish I had that. And this gives you the opportunity to say, let's give it a try. Let's see. Ivy wants to know, when does the Roundup discount expire?
We will not make it expire. So I'm not a pushy person. So I want you to be able to do it on your timeline. So it will be there if you call today, or you do your pre-call today, or you do it a month from now. It's going to be there. I just
We
always
got you.
warn people, don't wait if you need the money. Don't wait too long, because then it takes usually about 7 to 10 days to get into funding, and then
Mhm.
you sometimes, depending on the lender, it might take a few days to get the actual account in hand and set up. So just make sure your timeline is going to work for you.
Ivy, you're welcome. So yes, this is not a thing. It's not like a Christmas thing. It ends. I just wanted to bring her on here for my block party, because I know this is tremendous value for some of you guys that are looking for financing. The major reason I see people not getting into real estate is because financing. And it's all about who you know, what you know, your network, your inner circle, and what you're willing to invest in. I know, once again, money has a cost, right? It's like you just have to figure out what's best for you. Is hard money paired with this thing, or you're going to use private money and pair it with? And I think a lot of us, Amanda, well, for me, when I was coming up, I thought that buying a house was just one finance entity. Like I was going to go get a loan and that was it, like that one lender. But now I'm learning, like, you can piece it all together. It's not just one, it's not going to be just one loan all the time.
No, I mean, you can do it's similar, like, you think of like the funds of funds space, right? Like where you're doing it's the same strategy, you're just doing it on your own, right? So you're taking those options you have to make the deal work. And if you're buying and flipping, then you're making the deal work. You're taking in your, what you profited from it and moving on to the next deal. If you're buying and holding, I would not suggest that, business credit be a long-term game for you, but it could be the bridge, because we all know, or at least if you're in this space, you should know, it is much easier to obtain a mortgage on a property you already own. So you can go get a commercial, side mortgage, for investment property. So much easier if you already own the property, which is why a lot of people use this as a bridge, because they actually can get the deal, close it like cash, be done very quickly. As you know, those things can move in a week or two sometimes.
Yep.
And then once they get the property, rehab it, now they can refinance it for what they need, sometimes to even put into the next deal. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of ways you can do this to,
Mm,
to fit your path and what works for you. So, don't be afraid to be creative, because that's one of the things about real estate investing is you have
better.
to be able to move, adapt, and be creative in that space.
You better be creative. So you're saying you could not necessarily have a long-term hold with this type of financing that you offer, but
Correct.
acquire the asset.
Yeah. You don't want to do
Acquire
long
that.
term, because the interest will eventually kick in, and then the cost of that capital long term, isn't good. Now, I'm not saying you have to get rid of it a month from now. I'm just saying that you don't want to hold it long term, because that cost will start to eat into your profit too much. So there are so many offers out there when you already own the real estate that you can get much better long-term, deals on if you're going to hold the property, right? So it always depends on what your long-term plan is with that, with that deal, with that piece of property.
So we're using you. I'm just running. I like to work it through my head. We're using you for the acquisition,
Hmm. Yeah.
renovation, and then taking you out with
Yep.
some form of long-term financing.
Yeah. Always
That's
going to be
sweet.
an easier, better deal for you.
That's sweet.
And hey, listen, we talked about beforehand. They just dropped the rates again. Who knows where we're going from here?
Can't believe this mess. Y'all, the Feds just dropped their interest rates again, which we were talking is just unreal to me.
It's dropped several times this year. They did project they were only going to drop it twice next year. But when you're in this space, when you're whether it's I live and breathe in the real estate space just because I help that community so much. It's crazy to me because of how that happens. But it literally dropped right before we went live. Was that they dropped another quarter
That was
percent. So it might be great for some people. You guys might be happy about it. I'm optimistic. I'm just hopeful to see what
nervous.
happens.
I'm nervous. Roundup. There's no obligation. Just fill it out. There's an application in the video description and the show notes below. See what you qualify for. You might get a quarter million. You might get, I don't know, 50 grand. Who knows? But you got to at least submit the application if you need money for an ROI, not to go out there and buy doodads, take a vacation, get a car, go out there and get your wardrobe up. Please, this is not for you. We love you. We love you, but you got to make sure you use this money to get it out there and work. The real estate firm says you guys also introduced him to Plastique, which was a game changer to liquidate and free up the cash on the cards.
Yeah, Plastique is one of the premier partners we have that is a lot that does the wire transfer ACH off the cards. It does not count as a balance transfer. It can still be 0% for that. It shows as a regular transaction. They have a small transaction fee of I think 2.5% for what transact over their platform. It's all online. It's an easy way to use it. B2B, as long as it's B2B, Plastique is one of the premier ones we use. We've been using them the longest and have had the most success for our clients with them. And
Sweet.
they will pay those contractors. They'll wire it right into the deal. They have no problem with that. They're very, they're actually, they sold, they're public now. So very reputable company. And we've been using them for, I think, at least 10 years.
Wow. They're on the stock exchange now?
They went public. They were acquired by a public
Oh, okay.
private equity firm. I'm going to guess is who bought them. So
Yeah.
that for what I mean. So it's
They're already
went
on.
through and it's completely FTC compliant. They're
Sweet.
compliant with all the cards and everything. So it's a great partner to have. We actually don't make any money from it. It's just a great partnership to be able to offer that solution to business owners.
All right, Roundup. That's all I got for you today. This is my Christmas block party, and Amanda is the premier lender for my channel. They've been crushing it. I've seen you guys do amazing things, and I want to say thank you for your supporting my people here.
Absolutely. Hey, maybe you guys can help us get to 2 billion. We're almost at 2 billion in funding and it's a super exciting time. I can't wait. I'm going to be making shirts for the whole company that, when we get to that day, so it'll be super exciting here in the office. But I am so honored to be partnered with you and love your community. And I hope everyone has an amazing holiday and happy
That's
new
right.
year. And
Yeah,
2025 hopefully is an amazing year for everybody.
that's right. That's right. Get your financing set up if this is something that works for you. And hit that like button. Share with these other people that are interested in getting some financing for their business or for real estate. And I'll see you on the next video. Thanks, Amanda.
Bye.
All right. Bye.